apple salad recipe. And we got this recipe, how many years ago? 6?
Really?
6 years ago is when I lived in Walnut Creek. So there's this restaurant in Walnut Creek that we love. And
it's a little restaurant in
are
the
we
city by the bay.
Are we doubling this?
We always double it, don't we?
I don't think we do, but we will today. So anyway, restaurant, we love this salad. And one day my girlfriend was in there and sitting up on the stand were these recipe cards tied up with a little ribbon. So she thought that they were just for the taking, so she took one. And they really weren't for the taking, they were intended to go somewhere. But so that's how we got this recipe.
It was stolen.
Okay, so this right here, is 2 parts to this recipe. This part is you need to candy your walnuts. So you just take some butter and honey and you melt them over the stove here. And so it's half a cube of butter and a couple tablespoons of honey. And then once you've got it going, you put the walnuts in it and throw it in the oven.
I prefer to use a red onion.
I know. You know what? I could buy red onion. I prefer red onion usually too, but sometimes I have a really strong flavor and it's overpowering. And I felt like that the last
That's because you never put the red onion in the blender. But the thing
okay, that is a key point. Don't ever blend the onion in because then it overpowers all the other flavors. So you chop the onion, put it in separately.
the red onion gives it a pretty color though. We're going to chop up the apple for the dressing and throw it in the blender.
How many apples do you use?
1 apple.
What kind of apple?
You want a Fuji apple.
Why?
They're delicious.
They also say now, love you on the stickers. It's really cute.
Okay, we're going
Do you have
are we
any
doubling,
tequila?
are we doubling this?
What room is
Yeah. So we're going to put the cider vinegar.
Apple tequila.
Oh, I thought we got the key, the one key all the way
We are going to put in you still want it to be a little chunky.
Okay.
About 2 teaspoons of
Alright,
chives.
just call me when you...
Put the sugar.
I've got sugar.
Yeah, I need the sugar. In all honesty, this now is our own recipe because the sugar is an addition that I made.
Is it 4
And if you
tablespoons?
change any recipe, you get to call it your own recipe.
Wow.
Now, I only
That's
like
good.
to use a little bit of olive oil, so I'm not even going to double it. Because then it's fatty.
But did you more than put in one? How much did you put in? How much freaking sugar did you
I just put in 1.
So you doubled everything but the olive oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a
That's good. It looks pretty.
Put the onion
I love this. I don't understand why everyone doesn't love it.
in. Yeah, I need to taste it.
Okay, so then you take the dressing and your crumbled up walnuts and you dump it into a nice bed of romaine lettuce. You toss it all together
And sliced apples.
yeah, you slice out 5 or 6 apples in chunks, and then you toss it with the apples and the dressing and some blue cheese or gorgonzola cheese or even feta.
Let's put some of this extra parsley on it.
Cayenne can also be used to stop severe bleeding. If you empty a bottle onto a profuse cut, it will clot it immediately.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious. So if you have a kitchen accident and you cut your hand off, grab the cayenne. You'll be glad.
Will it hurt?
Grab your hands.
Probably, but your hand's probably, you're probably disillusioned enough not to feel
Put
it.
your hand in ice.
No, in cayenne.
Well, you want the clot.
I thought you cut your hand off. You should pick
Oh, the
and
hand.
put it in a cooler with
Yeah,
ice.
you could do
Try
that.
not to get it wet because then it gets.
Ice is wet.
Yeah, it's really.
She didn't think about that.
You should put it in a plastic bag and
Yeah,
plastic
you put it in
bag
a
on
baggie
ice.
and then put the baggie in.
Maybe
You know how your skin
cover
is
the
when
ice
you're
with
swimming?
saran wrap and then set the hand on top of the ice covered.
Put more
Either way.
sleeping pills in it. Push them up real small.
We're talking about if you cut your hand off. You
Oh,
want to put it in
shoot.
the cooler.
I think it would sting if you put cayenne pepper in a cut.
You know what? When you're bleeding that badly, you won't feel it.
You're just making crap up.
No, that's true. It's a true story. Do you want to demonstrate it?
I love lasagna, mom's lasagna, and then it wasn't until I was an adult that I found out that mom's lasagna recipe was easy teasing design, because right on the box.
Really cracks me up when people call for the oatmeal chocolate chip cookie dough recipe.
Oh, it is like
People call
buttermilk
it-
and
It's in the lid of the oatmeal.
Oh.
Just don't
Yeah.
use raisins.
And
Don't
use
use
spices.
spices.
Yeah, and use butter.
And put in a quarter cup extra flour.
Yeah.
See, we've changed that recipe enough.
I just put more flour.
Yeah, we get into that in content.
I know, so when we were kids, we used to make this all the time, and we didn't go to the store on Sunday, which is when we always made it. So you'd have to make up buttermilk, hi Sarah, with regular milk and lemon juice, or you can buy this great stuff. Because whoever has buttermilk, I never had buttermilk. But I bought this, you can use that powdered stuff. They're all
It's not as good with powdered stuff though. It doesn't have the same consistency.
No, the real buttermilk. If you want the cake to be good, use the real buttermilk. So we put in 1 cup of the flour, and then we put in all of the water.
Is this supposed to be like a cooking show?
Well, it's just so that these little sisters who know how to cook can cook. And then you mix that in. And then you add in the rest of the flour and then the buttermilk. And that way it gets mixed up well. Alright, so you pour it in the pan, and you pop it in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes.
Don't over bake it.
And when you're testing
Do
a cake,
not
don't
overbake it.
stick a toothpick in it. Press it with your finger in the middle, and if it springs back up, it's done.
But
then the frosting seeps in.
Yeah, so to find out how to frost this, you got to look at the chocolate frosting recipe, because the key to this cake is to poke the big holes in it and put the fudge frosting so it seeps in and gets all gooey. All right, so bounces out. Take the cake out. We're going to let it cool for just a few minutes before we frost it. We are going to frost it while it's still hot.